Carl Jung's Symbols of Transformation is more than a book. It is a doorway into the deepest layers of the human psyche. Written in 1912, it marked a turning point in Jung's intellectual journey, as well as in the history of psychology. This work was the moment when Jung began to distance himself from Freud's theories, especially concerning the nature of libido. While Freud saw libido primarily as sexual energy, Jung reinterpreted it as the totality of psychic energy, the force that drives not only sexuality but also creativity, spirituality, imagination, and the quest for meaning. This redefinition changed the entire direction of Jung's career and gave birth to analytical psychology. From the very first pages, Jung makes it clear: human beings are not merely creatures of instinct. We are also symbolic beings, constantly producing images and stories that reflect our inner energy. Dreams, myths, rituals, and art are not random inventions. They are the psyche's way of communicating its movements. For Jung, symbols are the natural language of the unconscious, carrying messages that consciousness must learn to interpret. Symbols of Transformation explores how these symbols reveal the transformation of psychic energy. It asks, how does raw instinct become artistic inspiration? How does fear become myth? How does unconscious energy rise into consciousness and reshape our lives? Jung believed that by studying symbols, we could better understand the evolution of the human soul. This is what makes the book both psychological and profoundly spiritual. The most revolutionary idea in this book is Jung's expanded definition of libido. He argues that libido is not limited to sexuality, but is instead the general life energy that animates all human behavior. This energy can flow into different channels: survival, reproduction, ambition, art, religious devotion, or mystical experience. By widening this definition, Jung opened the door for psychology to explore spirituality and creativity without reducing everything to sexual drives. This shift in perspective is essential because it allows us to see human beings as dynamic and evolving. Our instincts are only the foundation. What makes us human is our ability to transform energy into higher expressions, into culture, values, and visions. Jung emphasizes that this transformation is not optional, it is a necessity. If energy remains stuck at the instinctual level, it creates frustration, conflict, and neurosis. But when elevated, it fuels growth and renewal. Symbols are the key to transformation. Jung explains that unconscious energy does not rise into consciousness directly. Instead, it emerges through symbolic images. A symbol condenses psychic energy into a form the conscious mind can perceive. For example, the sun symbolizes vitality, energy, and renewal. The serpent symbolizes transformation, death, and rebirth. Water symbolizes cleansing and rebirth. These are not arbitrary. They are universal patterns arising from the collective unconscious. Jung shows how myths across cultures share similar symbols. Heroes descend into darkness, face monsters, and return transformed. Virgins give birth to divine children. Gods die and are resurrected. These stories are not mere cultural products. They reflect universal patterns of psychic energy. By recognizing them, we see that the psyche has been telling the same story across history, the story of transformation. One of the book's most fascinating aspects is how Jung interprets the hero's journey as a symbolic map of the soul. The hero leaves the comfort of the known world, faces trials, defeats monsters, and ultimately achieves a higher state of being. Each stage of this journey reflects stages of inner development. The monster represents the shadow, our repressed fears, desires, and instincts. The descent into darkness represents confronting the unconscious. The hero's victory represents the integration of this energy into a higher form. This means that myths are not just stories we tell children. They are symbolic mirrors of our own growth. Every human being, in some sense, is the hero of their inner journey. Every obstacle we face is a monster within us. And every victory represents psychic energy being transformed from chaos into order, from instinct into meaning. Jung introduces another groundbreaking concept in this book: the collective unconscious. Beyond our personal unconscious lies a deeper layer of the psyche shared by all humanity. This layer contains archetypes, universal symbolic patterns that shape our experiences. The archetypes are like inherited blueprints of the human soul. The mother archetype, for example, represents nourishment, care, and creation. The hero represents courage and transformation. The shadow represents the rejected, feared parts of ourselves. These archetypes carry enormous psychic energy and influence the way we think, dream, and act. By recognizing them, we can better understand our behaviors and the forces shaping our lives. Jung insists that if psychic energy remains trapped in the unconscious, it becomes dangerous. Repressed energy manifests as anxiety, obsessions, or destructive behavior. But if this energy is brought to consciousness through symbols, it becomes constructive. The same force that causes neurosis can also fuel art, love, and spiritual growth. For Jung, this is the essence of transformation. Symbols guide us through this process, helping us integrate unconscious material into conscious life. Religious rituals, myths, and artistic expressions serve as collective ways to manage and elevate psychic energy. That is why these cultural forms have survived for millennia. They are tools for human transformation. Perhaps the most inspiring theme of symbols of transformation is the ascent of energy. Jung describes how energy can rise from primitive instincts into higher spiritual forms. This is not only a psychological process, but also a sacred journey. By engaging with symbols, integrating our unconscious, and confronting our shadow, we elevate our psychic energy toward wholeness. This ascent leads to individuation, Jung's term for becoming one's true self. Individuation means uniting the conscious and unconscious, integrating the shadow, and embracing the archetypes within us. It is the process of becoming whole. The energy that once caused conflict becomes the very force that propels us towards self-realization. Jung encourages us to pay attention to our own symbols, especially in dreams. Dreams are filled with images that reveal the movement of our psychic energy. For instance, dreaming of water might indicate the need for renewal. Dreaming of fire might suggest transformation or passion. By interpreting these symbols, we can understand where our energy is blocked and where it seeks expression. This is why Jung's book is not just for psychologists. It is for anyone who wants to live a deeper, more meaningful life. By recognizing our symbols, we can participate in our own transformation. Symbols of Transformation is both a psychological masterpiece and a spiritual guide. Jung shows us that within each of us lies powerful energy. This energy can remain bound to instincts, creating conflict and suffering, or it can rise through symbols to fuel creativity, spirituality, and growth. The choice is ours. Symbols are not decoration. They are the language of the unconscious. They reveal the hidden movements of energy and offer us the keys to transformation. By understanding them, we can direct our energy toward higher purposes. The timeless message of this book is clear. Know your symbols, understand the energy behind them, and allow this energy to rise. Life is not just survival or repetition. It is an inner adventure, a journey of becoming whole. Every fear, every obstacle, every dream is a step on this path. Jung invites us to become the heroes of our own stories. The monsters we face are our inner shadows. The victories we win are the moments when energy is transformed into light. If we embrace this path, our lives become richer, deeper, and profoundly meaningful. Symbols of Transformation is not just a book to be read once. It is a guide to be revisited, a companion on the journey of life. Every time we engage with it, we discover new layers of meaning and new sources of energy within ourselves. If this video was helpful to you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to me. See you in the next video.